Hi, I'm Jim, and this is Working with Horses with Jim. And if this is a new channel to you guys, welcome. Today we're going to be hitching up, doing things a little bit differently. We're going to hitch up our Belgian horse, Bill, with our Percheron horse, Ken. So if you guys are regulars to our channel, you'll know that a few days ago, Buck, which is the horse that always stood right here, had colic and died. And we had a video on kind of a tribute to Buck, our last video. And so you could go back to that if you'd like. But anyway, so today I want to show you a few things in a barn, and then we're going to hitch these two horses up. They've never been hitched together before, and we'll see how that works out for us. But before we do, I want to just explain a couple things for our regular viewers especially. This is a stall that has been Buck's stall for years and years and years. This is Baron, our 3-year-old stallion. He was in there, but now, because Buck is gone, he has taken over Buck's stall. And because he has been moved, our two younger colts, the 2-year-old Suffolks that we have, that used to be out in a pen out back, are now able to come back into the original stalls. And what we did so that they would fit in the original stalls is actually took the partition right out. So I am very confident and very good with this setup that these two colts can stand here. They can easily lay down without any problems, and they don't have a partition in between them, which is perfectly fine. They don't have shoes, so I'm not have to be concerned about them laying down and getting up and hurting the other horse because they have shoes on. They're barefoot, and they're just colts. They're used to being with each other ever since birth, and so they'll be just fine here, even though it seems like a little bit small, confined area for them.
And they seem to be really happy being back here, I think.
Yes, I think so too, and I'm looking forward to getting them cleaned back up again. It was very difficult to keep them clean in the box stall that we had out there because it wasn't really a box stall like people would use a box stall. Most people, when they have a box stalls, I'm not a box stall fan, but just to promote a box stall, even though I prefer straight stalls, with a box stall you need to clean it out every single day, whereas my pen out and beyond here was more of a bedding pack type of a pen. I did not clean it every day. I just kind of added bedding to it, and so it worked okay, but I couldn't keep them clean. And so I'm glad to get them back in here. I can keep them a lot cleaner, or let me rephrase that, Brenda can keep them a lot cleaner.
So what's your, how do you think they're going to do together, these two horses?
Okay, I talked about this a little bit in the last video, and I'm actually going to get to work and I'm going to try to explain things as I'm working here. But my biggest concern is the fact that these two horses are the ones I'm going to have to log the rest of the winter with, because Buck, the one that died on me, was going to be my main workhorse for the winter. Even though he was the oldest horse, he was just best. He can work good with Bill, and he can work good with Ken. Lady, our Belgian mare, she, as most of you know, is pregnant, so I'm not logging with her anymore. So because of that, I am now forced to use these two horses together up in the woods where I'm cutting big pine. Baron is a 3-year-old. He's trained, and I'm really happy with his training process, but he's not at the age, or he's not ready to handle the big pine that we're dealing with up at Paul Smith College. So I have got to use these two horses right here, but they are my worst combination of all the horses I have. And I'll explain that better as we go along. Bye. Go ahead and open that door, Brenda.
All the way?
Oh. Now, in some ways, I expect them to work okay, but in some ways, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we have some serious issues. I can see either one of them coming over and biting the other one. I expect that, of course, Bill is going to be walking really fast, and Ken is not going to be walking fast enough. I am sure I'm going to have to do a lot of adjusting on the lines as we go along. Just keep their heads apart, Brenda.
Can I say that I love both of these horses, but together we'll see how they do. They're both sweet alone. Tell me when.
Okay, before I start, I am going to adjust my lines so they are even. In other words, when I'm pulling on the lines, I'm putting the same amount of pressure on both horses. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes in the adjustments here, and I'm going to have them on the center hole on both lines.
Is that a good way to usually start out with horses you're not familiar with working together?
Yes.
Like even and
Yes.
then go from there?
Start them even and go from there. Even though I'm pretty positive we're going to have to change even right off, but let's see how it goes. Now, I also have the ability to, since I'm just going to be line driving them over to the sled, I have the ability to swing to one side or the other of the horse, which does the same thing as adjusting lines. It puts more pressure on the horse's, a particular horse's bit. So there's a lot of options when you're dealing with a pair of horses that do not work good together. Okay, cap stop. Now, even with Buck and even with Lady, Bill would always walk considerably faster. So as you can see, as I'm driving, I'm walking way over here. By doing that, it puts a ton more pressure on Bill so that they drive more together and not him way ahead of the other one. But when you're on an implement, a sled or whatever you're on driving, you can't be walking way over here. You're sitting on the seat, which is directly behind them. I do have, quite often I'll use a bench seat on several of my implements, my carts, and that allows me to slide a little bit side to side, but not a lot. Fortunately, these guys are great working horses in the right conditions, so hopefully they'll be somewhat good in these conditions, even so. Careful.
I'm not sure you even told them what you're doing today.
I'm really not doing anything except for I have to start logging, and I'm going to start logging tomorrow with these two. And I just decided, being the first time I've actually hitched these two up together, I decided I better do it at home instead of up in the woods. Now, when I say that this is the first time I've ever hitched them together, that's not totally true, because I have plowed with 3 horses, and Bill has been in the hitch, and I've done disking with 4 hitches, and he's been in the hitch also, but not, I don't know if he's ever been standing next to Ken, but that really shouldn't be a big deal. Although I also know if these two are to be in the pasture, even right today, today, there would be a serious fight.
Yes, serious altercation.
So let's get them hitched up.
We got a lot of snow yesterday. How much do you think we got?
I don't know.
Like at least 6 inches.
More, yeah.
More than that.
Yeah, but we had a bunch before.
Yeah, so there's a lot of snow.
I'm a little bit concerned because my runners on this sled are on some boards, but it's been quite a while since I've used this sled, so it almost feels and acts like it's frozen down. I took my pipes out and I tried to slide the runners around a little bit, but I really wasn't able to do a lot. The front end is free, but I wasn't able to slide the whole sled over, but then there's a lot of snow here too, so it's difficult. So I'll find out really fast to see if my runners are frozen down. Now, the way I like to do that is I don't actually ask them to pull, because if I'm asking them to pull, I want them to pull. Back up, Bill. Back. back. Well, if they can't pull it, they can't pull it. And so I don't want to be asking them to do it. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll kind of fake them and I'll kind of allow them to go without me telling them to go. And I can just tell if they broke it free. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I would rather have them misbehave and pull it and find out they can't pull it than to have me tell them to pull it and they can't pull it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is funny. This is a very funny thing he's saying here.
Back up, Bill.
Maybe they know English and they know everything you're saying anyways.
Back up here. You might be surprised. Back up here. 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 Oh. That was kind of tight and kind of hard to hitch. A lot of times I would have gone up to the front, released that pole strap, and it would have been easy to hitch. But since it's a sled, when they back up on their haunches, it lifts the pole right in the air and it makes this a lot looser, so it's generally easy to hitch. So let's just see if my trick will work to make sure this sled is free. Sometimes I just tell them to go left or right without actually asking them to pull. But you have to be careful because you can actually break the long tongue that they hitch to in the process. Ha, 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 ha. Oh boy, oh boy. Gibble, G. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Huh. You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to have you stay here. I'm very concerned it's froze down pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't seem to have the strength to get underneath there and push it out of the way with all the snow it has to be pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to run and get the skid steer and come in here with the forks and break it free. I just don't want to take the chance. I'm not going to ask them to go until I know this will go. So if you could just stay here with them,
Yep.
I will be right back.
It took Jim about 5 minutes to go and get the skid steer and bring it back. And while he was gone, they really never moved a muscle. They never did anything to each other. It's like they know when they're in their work harness that they just should be good and they don't make a move to fight with each other. Bill did keep looking around, wondering when Jim was coming back, but other than that, they were perfect.
It is one of those times where I normally would say better get a horse, as hard as it was to get that skid steer through there. So I definitely broke this one free, and the other one's probably free also. Ha, a little bit. Ha, hip, ha, ha, ha. Careful, careful. Oh.
There she goes.
Okay. I'll take this back and we'll be right over.
Are they okay like that right there?
As long as you're here.
I'm getting over there.
I cuffed up. Ha. Jibber. Jibber. Jibber.
How do you think they acted while you were gone?
I don't know what's in there.
I'm asking you how you think they acted.
I doubt they moved a muscle.
They didn't. They were perfect. If you don't believe me, I got it on camera.
Okay, I'm just gonna go tie these horses right now because Brenda has a pie in the oven. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want it to be burnt. So she's gonna head in, take the pie out of the oven, and then we're going for a ride and see what we can do to adjust some lines and see if we can get these guys to work properly.
I think they're picking up speed here. Don't run into anything.
Oh.
Well, please.
Okay, hurry back. So, Brenda's got a few more minutes on the pie, so we gotta do something to kill a little time. I was planning on taking Baron and Lady and hitch them up and give them a little workout. I like to, on the days I'm home from logging, I like to work Baron as much as I can. But I'm afraid we're gonna run out of time. So because of that, I decided I'm going to let these two outside, and well, they were outside when they're not used to being together, let's put it that way. So let's see what they do.
I think Baron's excited about it, but we'll see what Lady thinks.
Get it, Baron. Get it. Get it, get it, get it. Hey, get it. There. The more that these two get used to each other, the better they'll work as a team. And since Ken is going to the woods, I hope to be working these two as a team quite a bit. And of course, for just a little while, they're going to be doing some fighting and carrying on, I'm sure. Neither of them have hind shoes on, so if Lady was to kick, it's obviously going to hurt. But I'm pretty confident that she will get over it very soon. Of course, she is bred. She's surely not coming in heat. And Baron knows that. But just new horses together, that's what happens sometimes. But it's going to be good that they kind of get used to each other, even out to pasture, because they'll work better as a team if they are used to each other. And they both have a little bit of hay here. They'll only be out here for a couple hours, then I'll bring them in for tonight. And it's just going to be handy if I have the option of putting these two out together. And because I'd like the colts will go out by themselves, and I don't want to put the colts in this situation because then Baron possibly his stallion instincts would tell him to drive the other young ones away, and I don't want them to get fighting. When they're just by themselves, they're fine, but when you throw a mare into the picture, it just causes all kinds of troubles.
Don't say any more. Don't make any analogies.
I won't say any more. Okay.
I think I think his butt hurts. And
yeah, he got a bit of a beating, but no damage, I'm sure. Okay, go check your pie, and then if that's good, you can let that cool down while we go for a quick ride around. Okay, Brenda checked on the pie. Unfortunately, I found out it's not for me. Cuffs up.
He just had a pie.
Cuffs up. Say who it's for.
Since Peter was so nice and came after dark in our time of need, we wanted to drop her off a pie. We couldn't ask for a better neighbor and vet.
Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. If you look at that evener, the evener is what they pull off. It's actually an evener and two whipple trees, or two double trees. The small ones are the double trees or whipple trees, and the long one is the evener, okay? So, as you can see, Bill is way ahead of Ken. Now, we have two options to get the horses working the way I want them to work. And the way I want them to work is, I want them to work even. So, if we're watching that evener, it is even. The two small whipple trees, or double trees, are right side by side. Right now, there's about a foot apart. So this is not a surprise. I'm expecting this to happen. Also, before I adjust anything and explain some few things, every horse is going to work differently with a different horse. Some horses will go really fast when they're with a fast horse, but then when they go with a slow horse, they actually slow down. Some horses are really slow, but when they go with a fast horse, they actually speed up. So you never know right off how a horse is going to work together. But I know that I need to do some adjusting to start with because of the way that evener is. It's several things I could do. I could just live with it for a while like this and see if either Bill slows down on his own or Ken speeds up on his own. But I'm not patient enough to know to do that, and I'm also have used these two horses enough, so I'm doubting very much they're going to change too fast. So, because of that, what I'm going to start with is adjusting the lines. So what I need to do is put more pressure on Bill and less on Ken. Now, the problem with that is a lot of horses do not work good without, they need to have some pressure on their mouths. And it's really complicated. It really is. It's very difficult to me explain like I'm doing this, but I guess I'll just continue trying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop them and I'm going to slide the lines, the buckle there, in such a way that I'm putting more pressure on Bill. So let me just get top of this little knoll here. Oh, and I'll stop him. So I need to go up, and what I'm going to do is take this buckle and slide it ahead so there's more pressure on Bill's bit. Now I know I'm not going to get this problem fixed today. So on this, now I'm going to take this buckle backwards to continue putting more pressure on Bill. And in the process of putting more pressure on Bill, I'm putting less pressure on Ken. Well, that's not necessarily the best thing to do. But we have to try different things to see what works best. Now I say it's not the best thing to do because, like I said, sometimes a horse needs to have pressure on their bit. And so, jump up here, Brenda,
Right.
because we got to see it from here to get an idea what's going on.
Disregard that.
So now I'm going to stay in the same place in the sled, and I ask them to go and see if I can keep that evener a little bit closer. Cap stop. Very little difference. Very, very little difference. So that's not immediately solving my problem. Now there's a lot of different things I can do, but I have to to start with, I have to decide, do I want Ken to go faster or do I want Bill to go slower? And it's kind of in my mind, it's a combination of both. So because I want Ken to go a little bit faster, I'm going to get after him a little bit. I'm just going to take my line. If I had a whip, I'd use a whip, but I'm going to kind of get after him like I would get after a young colt and kind of have him go a little bit faster. So I just give him a quick snap on the line like that. Now I know by doing that, it will affect the bit, but as you can see, it speeds him up a little bit. He will speed up a little bit. He's not always a deadhead, but I'd hate to continually be hitting him to make him go fast, and I do not want him to run. I just want him to walk faster. But I'm hoping that because of his slow, easygoing pace and mentality, that Bill doesn't feel the need to go fast because he's not competing with a fast horse. He's competing with a slow horse. So he can go very slow and he's still faster than Ken. So I need to do, like I said, one of two things. I need to slow Bill down or speed Ken up to get them to walk together. Now this is helping quite a bit because the evener is staying closer together. Ken is walking a little bit faster and he knows that, careful, he knows that I want him to walk faster because every once in a while I just crack him on the butt like that and it speeds him up. And it takes very little because I know him.
Well, that's what you used to do with Buck all the time, when he was with Buck.
I've had to do that with every horse he's with.
You had to do that to him with every horse.
Except for Baron. Baron being a colt. But even now, Baron's starting to get faster than Ken. So I'm actually have to, it'll probably be the same with them. Oh. Okay, so now what I'm going to try, I am also holding back really hard on Bill because Bill's the one that's really pulling on the lines. So I've explained this in several other videos, and I know people dislike sometimes the way I do this, and it's my brain strap, okay? And I know people dislike the way I do it, thinking it's harsh, thinking it's whatever. I've been using the brain straps for 40 years, and I've done it a lot. But I do caution people because of it can be harsh on a horse. It's got to be done somewhat right, or it can cause troubles. But in a situation like this, if I put a brain strap, I can actually just put it on Bill. And I'm sure that's what I'm going to have to do as I go into the woods, because I know he's going to give me troubles. But so what I'll do is put the brain strap on him, but not on Ken. Now, I could also adjust the lines so that it's different, because when you put the brain strap on, you're going through the bit and up to the top, so you're actually shortening up his line a lot. But for right today, I'm going to adjust the lines back just a little bit, put the brain strap on just him, and see how it goes. Like I said, every one of these little things you do, you got to just try simple things to start with and see what works. And all these things take time.
To me, they look like they're working perfect. Just saying.
So if you come up here, Brenda, I'm going to show people up close and personal how this brain strap again. So what I like to do with the brain strap is I'll take his line out and run it through his bit on this side, not through, and snap it right up here. And what that does is put pressure both on his mouth and on top of his head, which is a nerve spot that you have to be careful with and not overdo it. But it also, you have this big wide band of the bridle, so it's not as harsh as you would think. And of course, I know how to do it. I've been doing it for years and years, and so I can get away with it. So I'm going to leave that on the brain strap on Bill and go without the brain strap on Ken. Just the line just a touch more, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, if you want to jump on, we'll see if there's a difference. As you can see, we do have a fair amount of snow here. It would be great to be giving sleigh rides right now even, but I'm so busy trying to log and with everything that's going on, and also now that Buck has died, he was my main sleigh ride team with Ken, and so it makes it all the harder. But I am also thinking that Baron is actually ready to do some small sleigh rides. I'm kind of hoping to, in the next maybe few weeks, get the sleigh ride trail fixed up, and we've got a few people that want rides. And on a small group, I might even try Baron and Ken, or Baron and Lady, if the two of them get to working better. I cussed up. Cal. So we'll see how these guys drive now. Okay, I see I need to adjust the lines quite a bit, because if you look way ahead, you'll see that the line going to Bill is tight. I'm holding him. But Baron, but the line going to Ken, there's a lot of slack in that line, and I don't want slack in that line. I want to have a snug bit even on him. So it's a simple fix. I can adjust the lines to make that work. But as you see the evener, shine at the evener, Brenda, see how even that is?
Yeah, helped.
Oops, then we pull ahead, and I definitely have to hold Bill back to make this work. And I wish I didn't have to hold so hard on him, but that's just the way he is. And he's had several days off also. And I just remembered something. I was going to bring a chainsaw with us. Hope we don't come across a big tree down. Brenda's going to have to pick it up and move it.
Woo!
Careful.
Boy, it sure is beautiful out here. So quiet.
Another thing with a new pair of horses that you're putting together the first time, don't be surprised if they do a lot of sweating and get nervous, because it's just something new to them. I'm expecting tomorrow I'm going to go logging with them, and it's very possible they'll sweat a lot just because it's a new setup for them, and it's going to take a few weeks to get them working good. And it's going to be a challenge to get them working good. I am sure of that. But like I said, when you're doing all this adjusting, you have to do kind of one thing at a time, try it for a while, and then try something else. Another thing I've tried with these horses, and a lot of people have done, is I'll put a whole back strap or a buck back strap on my fastest horse, meaning Ken. And what that is a strap, careful, that goes to both of his bits, Ken's bit, and then there's a strap that comes all the way back and hitches onto Ken's heel chain. And what that does is it, Bill will be actually pulling this load with his mouth, and most horses after a short period of time they realize they're pulling with their mouth and they're just not going to keep on doing that. But for Bill, it's never worked that great. I've tried it a lot, and I also feel that I can't steer him as well when that's on. So I've never had very good luck with a whole back strap. So I think for the first few days, I'm going to run a brain strap on Bill and nothing on just a regular, going right to Ken's bit for him. Oh, I am going to adjust one thing. I'm going to adjust this line so it's putting more pressure on Ken, because when the outside line goes up through to here, you're losing a good 8 or 10 inches of line. So that puts that much is not enough pressure on Ken. So I'm just going to try that and see what happens. Stop. You get on, you never keep up.
I know. Just wanted to get a little different footage. This is a lot of snow.
Yeah.
A lot of snow.
Stop. Did you fall off or jump off?
I fell off.
Oh.
Sorry, everybody. Oh, brother. I just got a bunch of snow underneath me. I'm trying to hold on my phone and everything. Okay.
Okay, what am I missing here? As you can see, Bill is doing basically nothing, and I'm seeing steam come off him. He's not a very happy camper, It's just,
really?
Yeah, he's nervous.
I would think this is super hard because just walking in the snow is hard.
Well, it is, but still, it's more the fact that he's with a teammate he's never been with before.
Well, yeah.
Cuffs up.
Yeah, he is getting steamy.
So what I'm going to have to do is just head to the woods. I know they're not going to kill each other now. They'll be fine as far as that goes. But they just need some serious work together and see if they can make a team. I'm going to have to haul smaller loads than I'm used to, because there's other things we need to deal with. We don't need to deal with pulling big loads. We just need to deal with, more of a retraining type of thing to get them to work better. Now I know that a big share of Bill's problem is he's had 3 days off.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I get out in the field here, I'll let them trot with him. He'll just want to go like a madman. And if I let him, he would. Like I said earlier, I was hoping to hitch up Lady and Baron today onto the sled and just to see how they work. I've worked them on the sled before, but not much. I think I've hitched them on 2 or 3 times. So.
That's all open, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you hang on tight, we'll let them go.
Whoa, wait a minute. I'm not hanging on tight. I'm not hanging on at all. Here we go.
Go! Oh! Careful, careful, careful. What was that? Am I in the plowed ground? Yeah, I am. That's the problem.
Oh, Kenny, are you okay?
So as we were coming through here, I forgot all about the plowed ground here.
Oh my goodness.
It's not smooth, so Ken did a flopper. We'll get up onto the trail.
They're still in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell.
All right, come up.
Yeah, it's funny how the snow covers everything up so much. You forget what it's like underneath there. Especially with this amount of snow.
Well, I'm pleased with how they've done today. I don't have any doubts that I can at least get started logging, and I'm sure I'll have to do a lot of changes as the days progress, but I think they'll be fine. So until next time, we'll show you with these guys up in the woods. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You have a great day.